presented by Memphis Shades, the clear choice for custom windshields and fairings for your motorcycle. And Wild Ass Seats, stay in the saddle longer and in total comfort no matter your butt or budget.
That's a good one.
Yeah, there we go.
That's a good one, Dustin. Good job.
I won't take full credit, but good job.
Way to pull something out of your ass. Did that have CBD lotion on it?
It did. It did, and I feel much better now.
Awesome. You look much better.
Well,
You're looking
You
younger.
look happy.
how about now?
Oh,
You put them all like the guy from fucking Trailer Park Boys. You take them off and his like teeny weeny eyes. Okay.
Hey, Dustin, you like hockey so much. Have you seen that? I think it's on Netflix, might be Hulu or whatever. Those guys from Canada that do that hockey. It's a series.
Mm-mm.
Oh, what the hell is it called? I have to find it because it's hilarious.
It's called
It's
Whack-a-Puck.
hilarious. Huh?
Is it
Dude,
called
I had
Whack-a-Puck?
so much fun
No.
going to the NHL game when I was in Boston.
They're
I fucking
fun.
wish we had hockey.
Why don't you? California does. Florida does. All the places
Well,
that aren't supposed to
You'd
have
have to go to
hockey.
I guess-
You'd have to go to Nashville or Columbus to see an NHL
NHL,
game.
yeah. Not that I can afford that anyways. Tickets are fucking crazy. But
It's called Shoresy. Have you seen that?
Yes, I know Shores. I see clips all the time on TikTok, dude. He's
Oh,
hilarious.
okay. Shoresy is funny.
Yeah,
Really funny.
that's
I'll
hilarious.
write that down.
Like there was an episode where he's a referee for a game for like a high school kids game and just giving them shit the whole time.
Oh yeah, it's awful. It's
The best
it's
comebacks,
awful.
the best
Yeah.
comebacks I've ever heard.
I know, right? He's telling that kid, he's like, "Hey, tell your mom to stop calling me." The guy's like,
Well, it
"Fuck
gets
you,
worse than
Shoresy."
that. It's worse.
Oh,
than
I
that,
know. It
but
gets
yeah,
really bad.
It's the
Hey,
idea.
I got one for you, Dave.
What's that?
And this is gonna. Well, I remember it too. Dustin might even remember it. So, anybody here remember who Kurt Loder is?
Yeah.
Fucking
Nope.
Kurt Loder,
Yeah,
I do.
from MTV.
Kurt Loder. Yeah. Okay. I just want to throw this out there. Kurt Loder is 74 years old right now. 74. That's how old Kurt Loder is.
God damn, dude.
Now he wasn't a VJ, right? He just did the news.
He did the news.
He
on,
did the
on
MTV
MTV.
news,
Yeah, yeah. In the
But
90s,
they all
yeah.
kind of started as VJs. That's how they came on.
You're
and
right.
Kurt Loder ended up. kinda
Pauly
moving
Shore
into
was
the
a
news.
VJ.
Yep. So there's another gal that was on during that same time because I just saw she's 65.
What's her name?
Oh, I can't.
Was it the
remember
one
her-
that was voted worst VJ back
No,
in the...
this one had dark hair.
Who?
There's another VJ on there who's like 65.
Dave perked up. He's like, female? What?
Oh, was it Daisy Fuentes?
No, nope. It was like her name was like Martha, or her name started with an M. I can't remember, but I saw she's 65. I was blown away when I saw that Kurt Loder is 74 years old, and then I like Googled him and I saw a picture of him and I was like, dude looks like the guy from the Rolling Stones, man. Kurt Loder is
It's
fucking
like a
Richards?
like a roast
Yeah.
chicken.
he looks like he looks
Ugh.
like Richards, man. He is just
Ugh.
just very haggard looking.
Man, that was back when MTV was actually good.
Right when they played videos.
And
It
even the
wasn't all
shows they had
reality
on at the
TV.
time were watchable.
Shit, I haven't watched MTV
They were.
for fucking ever.
Yeah, it just
Because
became
there's nothing on MTV anymore.
We used to watch Cribs all the time. That's what I remember the
Crib,
most.
yo, MTV Cribs.
Yeah.
I think
That was so
MTV
fun.
MTV now is what VH1 was 20 years ago.
Probably.
I don't know,
really,
man.
it's really bad.
VH1 was like where all the good MTV stuff went when MTV started getting crappy.
Yeah, they actually played music videos all day.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It had a
When,
lot of good documentaries on
Yeah, and then
bands
VH1
stuff.
had some great documentaries for a while. Yeah, MTV makes a lot of movies now. They're like a huge media thing.
Shit, I haven't really thought about how much music has changed. Cause yeah, when I was younger, you just like you watched the videos. Like that was the big thing. A new song came out, and you're like, oh, let's go watch the music video.
Yeah, I
And
remember
now,
They don't do them as much. They're too expensive,
No.
and they don't make any money off them.
before MTV, the thing we
crazy.
used to watch all the time is you'd stay up late on
Soul
Saturday
Train.
nights and watch Midnight Special.
Soul
Yeah.
Train.
Midnight Special was amazing for live performances, but I used to watch Soul Train too.
Previous to MTV, some of the big artists actually premiered their videos on cable. I remember Michael Jackson's videos were on cable TV.
Mhm.
Really?
They made it a big deal.
Thriller came out on cable
God, that
TV.
would be so cool.
Billie
MTV
Jean
was-
came out on cable
MTV
TV.
was out on MTV had already started when they started doing that. They would do it
Yeah.
on MTV.
But yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, Michael Jackson had some banger videos.
He did.
Dude, his music is the fucking best.
Smooth
Say-
Criminal was still probably one of my favorite videos. ever.
Every time his songs come on, you just want to like dance. You just can't help yourself.
Or touch a small child. One of the
I know.
No,
right?
I don't
was-
do that.
You know what, dude? I was biting my tongue. I wasn't going to comment. I'm just ready to move on to something else. I didn't want to put it out there, but,
Way to make it weird,
but
Ryan.
there you go.
Who's bad?
Ryan.
Who's bad boy?
Tell me who's bad.
Oh, God.
I bet you that dude, when he wasn't in front of a camera, he had a deep fucking voice. I bet you he was a deeper dude. That was all show. That fucking high pitched mousy shit was all show. You know it was.
We watched a documentary on him, and it was pretty fucking weird.
Says, hey Macaulay, you want to go get some ice cream?
Rocket Road.
Get some ice cream, Macaulay. Call your friends.
I'm gonna butter your bread. All right, everybody, welcome back to Five Dirty Bikers podcast, where even Michael Jackson's a topic on this show. Who's bad?
You're bad.
We're bad. We're awful.
We're bad.
Anyway, welcome back to the show. We are without a Cox currently.
Speak for yourself.
I thought we had 3 here.
Well, we're -1.
We're down a Cox.
And we're going to tell you the truth. We had a shit of a time trying to figure out a topic for today.
We did.
Yeah.
We were at the 0 hour still looking on our phones.
Yep.
But we think we
were.
came up with something interesting, maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
Well, I think it pertains, right?
It does.
does.
Because a lot of people, especially these days, are listening to music when they ride or listening to something when they ride, whether it's on their stereo that they installed in their bike or came on their bike, or they have a comm system like all of us do. Let's have it. What does everybody listen to when you're on your
Or
bikes?
Do you listen to stuff?
How about providing some context first? Are we talking about just riding around, or are we talking about long trips? Because those are
Anytime.
usually 2 very different things.
Yeah.
You know, I go on
Do
a
you use
commute
it
and I'm
different?
listening to something on
I
a
do.
commute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. You go first, Dave, since you distinguish the difference between the two.
Well, if I'm touring, I like listening to podcasts
Okay.
over music. I'll listen to a little music, but if I'm doing a 600-mile day or whatever, podcasts make the time go by very quickly because the stuff I listen to is usually about an hour an episode.
Okay.
So you're just kind of like chunking down the road in that.
hmm
Okay. So without giving us the podcast that you listen to, what are the topics typically that you're listening to?
Yeah. what
Type
kind
of
of,
like the type of podcasts.
This month is mass murderers.
Okay.
do you mix it up every month?
In
So
May.
you're
No,
a real
it's one of the ones that I listen to. That's the theme this month is mass
Real
Oh,
murderers.
crime
interesting.
podcast, okay.
Okay.
I like listening to a lot, like true stuff, like especially about scammers.
adult
love-
entertainment.
I love stuff about scammers. And in fact, one of my favorite podcasts is Scam Influencers, which is really
Oh.
good.
Interesting.
And then Infamous America is another podcast, and they do like, I don't know, maybe 8-9 episode storylines, about historical stuff. So I think I just finished one on this last trip about Babyface Nelson, which was really, really interesting. And what was that movie on MTV? I mean, I'm sorry, on Apple TV recently with what's his face? Who's that young? Well, he's not young anymore. That
I don't know
actor
if Apple
that's
TV.
was
I
in
got nothing.
Titanic and
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Leonardo
Yeah,
DiCaprio.
yeah. Just drawing a blank. He was in that
Hey.
movie about the Indian murders in Oklahoma.
Mhm.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
That was
Yep.
actually on Infamous America. Like
That's a
I think,
Scorsese movie.
Yeah,
yeah,
it is.
like
Yeah.
a year or two ago. I listened to that while I was on a trip.
Okay.
That whole story, which was like I think 8 episodes or something. So I don't know.
Okay.
For me, it's just the podcast just make things go by so much quicker than just
Okay.
listening to music.
Do
I
you
could see that.
always listen to like serious type stuff, or do you mix it up and do like comedy or?
No, I like again, like I said, I like true, not, and I don't want to say like true crime, although I've got a couple of those. I'm looking at my library here. Nothing motorcycle related though, to be honest, other than our stuff. I'll listen to our stuff all the time. But just I really like the episodes about people that get found out like scammers and stuff, which are very
Yeah.
interesting. And there's a lot of famous ones out there that people probably
What's
don't
that
know.
one called again? I know you already.
It's
said.
called Scamfluencers. It's these two chicks, and yeah,
Of
I mean,
course
they've
it's
got,
two
they've really,
chicks.
yeah, of course, they've got a really good vibe, and yeah,
Good
no,
vibe.
that's, so
Great
that's the
vibe.
kind of stuff. And then Killer Instinct is the one that's doing the May is Mass Murderer Month.
Scam influence. What's
No,
it called?
Scamfluencers.
Scamfluencers. I'm gonna check that out.
Check it
that
out.
sounds
I
very
think it's
interesting.
really good.
Okay.
I've got a subscription to Wondery, which is one of the podcast networks, so you get to like listen to stuff without commercials.
Commercials.
And you
Okay.
can binge stuff and get episodes early.
So that's what you do on a long trip. What do you do on a short trip, Dave?
If I'm riding around, I usually just listen to music because you can't really focus, right? I mean, if you're riding around the city or whatever,
Yep.
you're like hyper, checking everything out. But
Yep.
that's why I was asking about context, because like, I'm leaving in a couple of days to do all the Northeast states and go up to Montreal, and I'm going to be, hours and hours a day, riding. So that's where I switch and listen to podcast stuff.
What did you
Okay.
listen to on the way to Uranus?
Uranus.
Mama, I'm coming
Rolling
home.
Stone.
Mama, I'm coming home. On repeat.
Yeah. Ozzy Osbourne.
Yeah. No. So that's my thing. But like I said, I don't listen to any like bike stuff.
Okay,
On
on a
podcast.
short trip and you're listening to music, what is your go-to?
Yeah, that's a good one.
My own personal library. I don't like listen to, I guess, radio and stuff.
No,
a lot
yeah,
of
but,
stuff.
like,
yeah,
is-
not
do you
a
have
radio. What's your
artists that
go-to
you-
artist, Dave?
Yeah.
Your go-to
Uh,
artist.
Or genre.
right now, Peter Gabriel.
Okay.
It's been recently, but I've got a very wide taste in music, so I listen to a lot of
Sure.
funk, a lot of soul, punk.
Death metal.
No,
Okay.
not a fan of metal at all.
Okay. All right. What about you, Dustin? What's your
I listen to fucking metal, yo. No, go. Just let's talk podcasts in general right now. I'm kind of like with Dave, where I don't listen to a lot of bike stuff
Sure.
because I get enough of that on here.
Right.
But there is one show. There's actually 3 shows I would say that I kind of go between, just depending on the topic or guest or whatever. I do still listen to Rogan once in a while, depending on the
Okay.
guest.
Okay.
And then there's a this is for comedy and for nostalgia. It's a podcast called We Hate Movies.
Okay.
So it's a group of like 3 to 5 guys who review an old movie, like from the 70s, 80s, 90s, or whatever, and they just fucking rip it apart. I mean, they love the movie, but they're going back and just saying how awful this about it was, but it was such an enjoyable part of their childhood or whatever. There's one episode in particular that I've even listened to in the car with my wife on the way to Florida. Was you guys seen the Stephen King movie Silver Bullet?
Nope.
No, I don't. Think
Yeah, I
have
think
seen
so. That's old, right?
It's 85,
Yeah.
something like that.
It's the
But
werewolf one, right?
yeah, it's the werewolf.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the few werewolf books he wrote. But anyway, they just shred it apart, and it's just one of the funniest listens ever. I'll have to send you guys a link, and you have to give it a shot. But they're good to listen to too once in a while. And then another podcast I kind of started listening to was you guys know the wrestler The Undertaker.
Yep.
So he's got his own podcast now called 6 Feet Under with Mark Calloway. So he
Okay.
was very protective of his character when he wrestled. So like he didn't do like a lot of autograph signings. He didn't speak a lot to the public. So you're getting like backstage stuff from the 80s and 90s now that are kind of like, wow, it's really cool to know that, even though this guy was this character when he was professional, but now he's just coming out with all these stories. It's actually pretty cool.
Nice.
But getting back to writing now, I mean, I'm music all the time.
Okay.
Most of the time. I hardly listen to podcasts when I'm on the road. But I'm like Dave, I've got a good variety of stuff. I do like the heavier rock predominantly. Just a couple of bands, Wage War. I still listen to like old Mudvayne, some older like screamo stuff. Heck, I even got some country in my playlist. Like
I'm
old like
surprised to hear that.
old Garth Brooks is still cool.
Yeah.
Have
Well,
you
the Garth
posted
Brooks
anything
stuff,
on the
yeah.
Spotify thing in the Discord for the playlist everybody's putting
No,
together?
I forgot about that.
I drop Spotify because the fuckers keep raising prices every other month. It seems. I mean,
They
I
do.
like the platform better. I like the way it operates, especially on mobile compared to Amazon Music. But I get that for free because my wife's on Prime. So I
Well, I think
why spend the money?
whoever's coordinating that in the Discord, they're just asking for like 3
Bob.
tracks from people. They're putting
Bob
together.
is, yeah.
Okay, I might send something then.
I
I
was
think we
gonna
did
do
that
s-
last year. Didn't
I
we?
was going to do something, and then I thought, man, everybody's just going to be bitching about the stuff I put out because I was going to do like a James Brown track and stuff.
Put out
and-
put out
Just
whatever
put
you
it
want.
in there.
Everybody
I would
wants
listen
to
to
know.
James Brown.
Like everybody wants an eclectic
Yeah.
version of music because lots of people are riding in from far away this time and they want some variety of music. So throw your stuff out there.
Yeah, maybe I'll do that.
So this is a call out to all of the Discord members and all of our listeners too that are on Discord is throw your music choices for FDBM out there so we can continue to build that list.
I actually created a channel for that in the Discord.
Yep.
Yeah, that was Bob that had that great idea.
And Bob's putting it together. Yep, Bob's putting it
Yeah.
together. So he'll post it before FDBM.
I think it's in the events section, isn't it? Yeah, FDBM 24-music playlist.
Yep. So he's putting it together.
Can I
so
put a podcast in
get
there?
out there?
Sure, something
No.
to listen to.
No one's going to listen to a
No.
podcast.
Yeah, I do listen to podcasts about musical history, like tearing apart like albums by bands, but usually they're bands in
Sure.
the 60s and 70s.
Sure.
I guess
Okay,
that would
Brittany.
work.
What about you?
I predominantly listen to music when I'm writing.
Or Jared's shitty directions.
So essentially,
Sometimes.
you've only heard 3 songs this year.
No, I've heard a few more than that, but I had to think about that. I was like, wait a minute, how many?
What's he saying? Is he saying I don't write a lot?
But yeah, I usually listen to music. You guys know I haven't done as many long trips. I think if I was blasting down the interstate for like a really long day, I would probably have to mix it up and listen to like something else, like mix in podcasts or something. But usually music. And I have like a range of stuff that I listen to as well. I don't do heavy metal generally, although I do listen to some stuff back from like stuff I listened to in high school occasionally. Like I've listened to Mudvayne before.
I
Over
thought you
long-
were a big country fan now, Brittany.
I do. I like country music. I like
Don't
recently.
you like that guy who doesn't wear any shoes when he sings on stage?
Who the fuck is that?
What's that?
G-
Kenny
G.G.
Chesney
Allen.
guy?
I have no idea what you're talking
Shoeless
about.
Joe Jackson.
Kenny
No.
You never heard of
Chesney.
him?
You like Kenny Chesney, don't you?
Eh,
See?
no, I like Eric Church. Eric
Oh, yeah,
Church is
Eric
one of my
Church, that's
big.
right.
He's phenomenal. I love
Who the
it.
fuck is that?
I don't like anybody with the last name of Church.
Okay.
It makes Ryan
Eric
allergic.
Church, Tyler Childers. I love Tyler Childers as well. Recently I started listening to Macklemore again. It's been like ages since I listened to Macklemore.
Oh yeah, I like that country guy that has the big beard.
Ryan, you're such an ass.
He was just on Saturday Night Live actually about 3 weeks ago.
Chris Stapleton.
Fuck, dude, that guy has a great voice.
Chris Stapleton's very
Yeah.
good.
He has a great voice. I love his voice. Is very bluesy. It's rich. He has a great voice, and I'm not a country fan. I think country can suck a dick, but I
Not
like
all bad.
it's all bad.
Most of it is.
Old country is good. The rest of it can suck a dick.
It's
Well-
gotten so poppy now, it's unlistenable.
I mean, it does. Music.
I like
just
old Garth
changes over
Brooks. I like
time.
old Charlie
Yeah,
Daniels.
man.
I
No,
like
Have you
Garth
heard-
Brooks was
no,
pop.
no fences
old
was
Kenny
a great album.
Rogers.
Have you
Garth
heard
Brooks is
Beyonce's new
pop.
country western album?
Beyonce's new country album can suck a big dick.
No, I have not heard this.
I haven't heard it yet.
That's
awful.
what I hear. That's been very controversial.
Yeah,
I'll
has
have
been
to
very
look it up.
controversial.
I
I'm
heard she did a
curious now.
cover of McCartney's Blackbird that apparently he
She's-
was very
know what?
impressed with.
She's pissed off because Taylor Swift is taking over the world. And
Taylor
she's pissed
Swift.
off.
She's just popular. What are you gonna do?
You can't be mad at her. Girl can write a good song.
She's
Can't
good
be
at
mad
it.
at Taylor
She's
Swift.
good at
She
what
writes
she
good
does.
music. Yeah,
I wouldn't know.
she's a billionaire.
Well,
Yeah.
you haven't heard the news. You know, she goes to football games. Everyone's all fucking worked up about. It's
Hey,
so stupid.
she has
Who
raised the
cares?
NFL's profile if it's even possible.
She probably has. I
She
just find
has.
it
Yeah,
so annoying
she
that
has.
Just
everyone's
wait
like,
until she takes a
"Oh,
knee. That'll
she's
be
at
over in a
football."
heartbeat.
She's not going to
It's like
take it.
she
She's
can go to
she's gonna
fucking
kneel
football.
down, and those people are gonna lose their shit even more because
The only time she's taken a knee is in front of Travis Kelce.
Oh my god! There it is.
there we go.
There it is.
There we go.
Well, back to topic.
Sorry, Tay Tay.
The podcasts that I like to listen to, I feel like this won't surprise you guys. They're very serious, but they're like weird. They're things that make you like think about life and
The
I don't
Pegarators.
know. No, there's one. There's one called Invisibilia. A lot of them are like NPR, I guess, related. But there's one that's called Hidden Brain and Invisibilia. Those are two of my
Hidden
favorite
Brains
podcasts
NPR.
ever.
I know that for sure.
Yeah, I love those two podcasts. I had to stop listening to Hidden Brain because they like quit putting out new shit, but they're really good.
Two Bears, One Cave is funny shit too.
Oh, so that's the other stuff. So because Jared, so I
Your
listen
mom's
to a
house,
lot
yeah.
more comedy now than I used to because Jared listens to a lot of random shit. So I've now become a huge Ryan Sickler fan. He's really like, I listen to his show. What the fuck is it called? I don't know what it's called. But anyways, he just like interviews random people and they talk about life and stuff. But yeah,
All right.
trying
Ryan,
to
your
think
turn.
what else.
Believe it or not, guys, I'm super fucking boring.
You don't listen to anything?
For the most part, I ride silently on my motorcycle for
Wow.
a lot of the time. And if I'm on a really long day, I listen to music at the end of the day when I'm getting tired to kind of refocus me. But I actually use riding to truly clear my brain, to clear my head. When you're not listening to anything, it forces me to think about the things maybe that I don't want to think about, or think about the things and I problem solve. I get ideas when I'm on my bike. I
Yep.
meditate, all of the things that you'd normally do. And I kind of took a page out of Dave's channel title and his being here now. I really try to be mindful about living in the moment when I'm on my motorcycle. That's truly, and I'm not trying to be like weird or sappy about it. That's truly how I like to ride. I've actually ridden, especially if I ride alone. I don't listen to anything, but very oftentimes when I'm riding with a group, when I'm riding with the White Walkers that everybody calls us, I don't listen to anything. I'm one of the only ones that doesn't, except for when I get really tired. And then if my go-to, I'll listen to 80s music. Like I'll just go on Spotify and find an 80s channel and listen to 80s music. So just whatever eclectic 80s music it pulls from. And then for a lot of the reasons that Dustin talked about, nostalgia, that kind of stuff. And then or I'll listen to late 90s, early 2000s grunge. So Foo Fighters, Alice in Chains are two of my favorites that I go to. And then Audio Slave, which is again, Chris Cornell and Soundgarden and Nirvana, and kind of that the music that would have been the music that was popular when I was in high school, and the 2 years out of high school was all that 90s grunge stuff. And that's kind of where I land when I really want to. I think that Alice in Chains is some of the most beautiful rock music that's ever been written.
They are good.
melodically
you
and
you make a really
complicated.
good point. First off, I admire your choice and taste in YouTube channels. But like riding in silence, because I don't listen. Like if I'm going out on tour, I don't listen to anything for probably the first half of the first day, because I'm like you said, right? It's about and then every morning I don't like get on the bike and then immediately turn something on,
That's
don't
because
either.
it's about getting that time in your head,
Mm-hmm.
before you start getting out of your head.
You
Yeah.
know what?
When
I
you
spend
ride,
too much fucking time in my head as it is, I guess. So when
when
I go
you
on the
ride, but see
motorcycle, I'm
that the point,
opposite.
the point of it though, Brittany, and this is the truth though. The point of it though is to get out of your head, to get in your head, so you can get out of your head. That's the whole idea of it. And
I
so,
don't know, man. Maybe it's the former musician in me, but music is that release that gets me away from monotony.
right, and
Yeah.
that might be, or that, I mean, I'm sure that absolutely is.
Yeah,
the
but it's
musician in
different.
you.
It's different for everybody. I understand.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I guess I do similar things, but it's not on the motorcycle. Like for me, that kind of thing would be just like, honestly, being outside is when I'm the most calm. If I'm just like chilling in nature, listening to nothing, I guess.
when you start,
So
if
I
you
would
ever,
do it in that case.
sure, if you ever, Brittany, if you ever like actually do spend, and I'm not criticizing you, I'm just saying, if you ever do spend a lot of time on your bike, and you have an opportunity to tour on your bike, one of the things I know that Dave and I have both talked about and agree on is that I don't feel like a motorcycle trip is even started until I'm 100 miles in.
Yeah.
So that's when because when you're 100 miles in, you're an hour and a half from home. And that's when I feel like my motorcycle trip is typically started, is when I'm about that far. So like this last Sunday, or Saturday, I was with the guys, three of the guys that I normally ride with, and we rode just over 200 miles that day. And honestly, it didn't really even feel like I rode that day, because it was, 90 miles, and then we stopped and got fitted for suits for Kenny's wedding and did a couple other things, and then rode to a dealership, and then rode to lunch and whatever, and then turned on rode home. So it really didn't feel like we had ridden, even though we put down 200 miles that day. So and even though Mr. Cox isn't here, I had a conversation with him, and Mr. Cox is doing 200-mile round trips to get himself ready for FDBM.
Is
and
he
his
going
ride
up
out
to Rabbit
FDBM.
Hash, or is he?
I don't know where
random
he's riding
places?
to, but he has a ride picked out that's 200 miles.
Interesting.
And so he's been doing these 200-mile loops on a weekend. And he said he's gotten to the point where it's gotten better, but he has learned some things already about himself riding. So
Nice.
I don't want to speak for him.
No,
But,
you should.
we
You should
should-
speak for him because he's
we
not
should
here.
bring it up. Yeah, well,
Well, give him a
well,
chance.
this is what I'll say is that he was very unaware of the lower body fatigue of riding his motorcycle, those kind of distances. He didn't know it was such a thing. And so he and what
That's
I told
what
him
happens
was,
when you buy those cool guy foot pegs, dude. You gotta buy something with some fucking rubber
yeah,
vibration dampening in them.
No,
one of the
screw
things,
that.
one of the things I told
foots.
him was, when you go on a long day, you say you're going to ride, he's not going to ride 650 miles, but I even told him on a 350-mile day, I said, don't think of it as 350 miles. I said, think of it as 3 100-mile trips. And I said, that really fucks with your head, because you think about it, you're like 100 miles and I stop, 100 miles and I stop. And we do that all the time with my group.
Yeah.
We're like, we don't talk about 680 miles today. We're like 6 stops, 5 stops, 4 stops, lunchtime, 3 stops, 2 stops. We're there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you think about it like that, it changes what that day looks like.
Yeah.
And then I, on a day like that, I won't listen to music until I'm fatigued, until I'm losing focus. And as soon as I'm losing focus, then I'll play that music or whatever, and it refocuses me.
Yeah, but
depression.
I that technique, or what you were talking about, how you guys count down the stuff, that can bite you in the ass, because it bit me in the ass like 2 weeks ago when I rode out to Cape May.
Explain that.
Well, I went to Dover and then to Cape May, and I kept thinking, it's not that bad. It's only like 200 and what was it, like 280 miles one way, not a problem, you know.
Sure.
What I didn't factor in was the fact that like 75 or 80% of that was on back roads,
Yeah,
Sure.
it's
which
Oh,
a
it took
lot
longer.
different. It's a lot
wore
different.
well. It wasn't that it took so long, which it took me the whole day, but I was beat the fuck up. I mean, I coming home, going out was great, but then
Bad roads.
coming home, it's just, you know, when you ride, there's a difference between riding on highway, like large highway, or riding on slab, or riding back roads or back
Yeah.
road highways, right?
Mhm.
Because I mean, you're like, you know, 2 lanes and you're hyper focused, and you got to go through all those little fucking towns that have 30-mile-an-hour speed limits, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, it wears you out. So it's, you know, you can't just, I think in terms of 100-mile increments. It's what's in those 100 miles.
Yeah,
Right.
that's
You
some
know.
of the stuff I kind of was trying to tell you guys on some of our trips, because the trips that we've gone on, we take like highways. We're not just going interstate. Now, don't get me wrong, I fucking hate riding interstate. It's hella exhausting. Like that just wears me out because you're just driving straight forever. So the windy roads, I feel like sometimes I'm not thinking about the time as much. It goes by faster. But like you said, Dave, you're not, it's slower paced, and you have to be thinking constantly because you're not just going in a straight line. There's turns and things that come up that you have to be prepared for.
It's the other reason why I don't like listening to music, Brittany, when I ride all the time. You want to know why? Because every song's about 3.5 minutes long, and it's just like a clock ticking in my head.
That's wild.
Yeah, I don't. And that's one of the reasons why I don't, because it's like, okay, I've listened to 5 songs. 3 times 5 is 15. 15 minutes has gone by.
Yeah,
Like, I
that's
just,
so interesting though, because
I
it's
don't,
like
I don't like it.
we
I
all
don't
think
like it.
about things so differently. I mean,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
just
because
listen
if
to
you're
the
in a-
music and I don't think about how many songs I've listened to at all. I just listen to it and like
Yeah, if you're
jam out.
if you're in your car going on vacation 10, 12 hours away, there's no way I could listen to nothing.
Yeah,
I can.
like to have balance.
I can actually.
I can't do that. It drives me nuts.
Me
Yeah.
too.
It's the fact. I think it's the fact that I'm sitting in one place for a long ass time, and my body needs something to do. So I need
Yeah,
something to stimulate my brain.
for sure. So, okay, so I have something else we can talk about to add to this. Do you guys, we all have comms, but for the people that do have comms, do you like having conversations while riding? Because
Yes.
everyone is very different when it comes to that too.
Depends on who you're riding with.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, I know when Ryan and I and Bob and Nick and we were all riding out in South Dakota last summer, we all had comms, but we didn't spend a lot of time talking to each other.
Mhm.
Other than like Nick calling out, you know,
Yep, traffic and
as our
stuff like
tell
that.
guy. But yeah.
My riding group, we don't talk a lot actually. We are very vocal. We're much more vocal when we're in like a large city, because we're calling out traffic and directing each other and that kind of stuff. Directions or turns or cars that are getting in our lanes or anything like that. But once we get on the road, the other guys I ride with all listen to music. Kenny listens to death metal. Nick listens to chick music, and
Is he like Walter? Does he like Brittany?
oh yeah, he listens to Britney Spears and yeah, he listens to all Cher. He listens to all chick music.
Oh
Yeah.
my God.
Yeah, he
I'm going
does.
to give him
I don't
so
like
much
your
shit.
stereotyping, Ryan.
That's what Nick listens to. It's all this. It is. Katy Perry. I mean, it's all chick music.
Oh, you
now
mean
hang
it's
on.
all female singers?
All
Hang
female
on.
singers.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Katy
okay.
Perry's, you know.
Fuck Katy Perry. Anyway,
Maybe.
so that's
I
what
like
Nick
Katy
listens
Perry.
to. Bob gets stuck in genres, right? So he'll we were riding one day and he sent me this thing and I clicked on the link and it was like a Spotify and it was a Spotify playlist for 90s rap. So it was like
Wow.
Run DMC and Onyx and like all of these guys from all this 90s rap music.
It's back
So
when rap was good in the 80s,
listens,
man. 90s.
Yeah, he listens to like genres when he listens typically, but Bob listens to music quite a bit. and Nick listens to music, and Kenny listens to music that is completely unintelligible. I mean, you can't understand the words they're saying. You don't know if
Screamo
it's
type stuff, or
even
like, is it really heavy?
Cradle of Filth.
yeah, he listens to this one that's like this gal who can sing like super melodically. She's from like Sweden, and then all of a sudden she sings in this voice, sounds like she's tearing the face off of a giant gorilla.
Okay.
I don't remember. He knows her name, and if you watch the video of her singing, she's beautiful, and then this voice comes out of her, and it's actually frightening. The first time I heard it, I think I urinated myself.
I cannot
So,
think of the. I think I've heard that band, but I don't know the name of it.
Yeah,
One
yeah,
of the big
Murder
things
is in
in
the name.
It's terrifying.
in tech these days, it seems for writing seems to be these synchronized playlist or group audio things where the whole group, everybody in your group can listen to the music together. Seems to be a big popular feature people are adding into stuff.
That
Why?
is fun.
I don't know.
Why is that?
I don't know. I don't know why people are doing it. Rally
if you
mode. I
like
think they're
the
calling it
same
like rally
kind
mode
of-
or something.
Rally mode?
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess think of it as like going to a concert. I know it's.
What if you
very
were writing it
different,
like
but
Ricky Martin came on your thing? I mean, it would just be like, I just want to punch myself in the face.
You'd
or
have to-
Menudo.
You'd have to all like the same music. I think that's the only way that would
Well,
work.
or
So it'd
think
be
about
like
it like
that
this,
shared
because
experience of jamming out together.
think about it like this, and I would be open to this, is that you're also sometimes, and this has happened to me quite a few times in my life, where I've been exposed to music that I normally would just completely not be completely closed off to, and then somebody like plays something for me, and I was like, oh, that's amazing. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Sometimes that happens too.
I don't need to do shit in my life like that.
Hmm.
I get an enjoyment from my old stuff.
Dave, you listen to Foo Fighters, don't you?
Oh, I do,
I,
man.
I know you love Dave Grohl.
Yep. He's my
So, I
man.
mean, he's,
Super cool dude.
he's a music savant.
Well, I don't think Tony likes to do conversations while riding, but I will say, like, when we did our trip, Tony wasn't there, but when we did our trip to Alabama, I was amazed at how long all of us, like, talked. We talked for, like, fucking hours.
Yeah, that drive me nuts, man.
I enjoy it. I like a mix of it, though. I like to listen to music, and then I also like to talk.
So I find that super, super distracting.
I mean,
I don't mind
is.
having like short conversations. That's the thing I like about like when traveling with Volts, right? Because we both will have music or something on, right? You can't hear it over the cardos. And you talk when you got something to share.
Walter listens to chick music, doesn't he?
He does.
Yeah. I knew
But
that.
like, so I guess an interesting comparison would be, if you like talking like that, are you one of these people that like talking on the phone?
Interestingly enough, no, I don't like phone calls.
I'd
Really?
rather talk on the phone than send a text message.
Oh, yeah, I don't. I like talking on the phone too. I like to hear people's voices. You can pick up tone and
Yeah,
intention a lot
yeah.
better when you hear someone's voice.
I think it's just that I'm
yeah, but I
always-
mean, just
they're
like,
they're called phones, not.
yeah, but I'm talking about just chatting, right? Not because for me, like you get on the phone because you want to communicate something, and you get the fuck off.
Sure.
I
you
like
know?
chatting in person. Rather, I don't know. There's something about being on the phone in a phone call. Like, I guess I multitask a lot, and there's something about a phone call that I just feel like I'm stuck there and I just can't do other shit.
It's like
terrible.
number two. It's number two. So you want to be in person first. Phone
Yeah.
call is the second best thing.
Yeah. Just so you know, Brittany, just from an older person's perspective,
Oh God, here we
Okay.
go.
multitasking while you're talking to someone on the phone is incredibly fucking rude.
Yeah, that's why I don't do it. That's my thing. So, like, if I'm busy throughout the day, I don't want to be on the phone. I want to be doing other shit.
You know what I mean? Like having
So
a
I don't-
conversation.
I don't do
it's
that.
it's like when you have a conversation with somebody and you're talking to them and you're face to face and you're having a conversation and they just casually pick up their phone and they start scrolling while you're talking to them.
I hate that.
See, like Dave's doing right now. It's incredible, and the thing
Oh, yeah.
is
No,
it's
I
become
know.
so ingrained into some people that I'll even say it to my daughter. I'll be like, "Are you?" She'll be like, "I'm listening to you." I'm like, "No, you're not. You're not paying any attention to me whatsoever because you're not even looking at me."
Yep.
and it's a and we should be training the younger generation. We should be training that out of them because it's
Yeah.
incredibly rude.
No, for sure. It's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
You know what also is terrible? Not staying on topic. What the fuck does that have to do with what you listen to when you're riding?
It doesn't matter, Dave. We're just talking.
Well,
We're
there you
having
go.
a chat.
Now,
Shit.
so I will say this. I have now I upgraded my comm system a while ago, and so I'm gonna have to give it a try. But one of the reasons why I didn't listen to podcasts very much is that, in case for anybody out here listening to the Five Dirty Bikers podcast, is that there is a variety of the way that people post produce their podcasts, and some of them are not good audio in your helmet because they're not
Yep.
loud enough.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And so I have found that to be even true. I've noticed that even my car, I'm playing a podcast and some of them I have to turn up really loud
Mm-hmm.
and some of them I can just play at a normal volume. So everybody masters their audio different. And I found podcasts to be the most variant in how they're mastered. And some of them you just can't hear when you're on your bike.
What's
Yeah.
your volume number? What's your volume
Yeah.
number in your car? Tell me.
In my car,
Every
Yes.
car is different, though.
yeah, like so one of the current podcasts I was listening to right now to get it so that I could hear it well, my volume number was at like 30.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Mine is generally 12.
Who
And
the
I
fuck-
didn't
what
even
do you-
know that.
Why do you guys have numbers?
Jared pointed it out one day. He'll like turn the music up, and I'll
When
be
you
like,
turn your
"This
volume
is way
knob,
too
Dave,
fucking
there's
loud.
numbers
Turn
that
it
go
down."
across, that
1
they go
through
across your
50.
stereo.
I don't think so on mine. I got an
I don't
older
think
car.
mine goes up to 50,
Yeah.
but I apparently have mine at 12.
I've never owned one
frequently.
without it, Dave. You probably just don't pay attention when
Probably
you
just
adjust
don't
your
pay
volume.
attention.
It's
Yeah.
because you're old, Dave, and your cars didn't
I've
have
got other
digital
important things to
readouts.
focus on when I'm
Yeah.
driving.
Car's not old, Brittany. So
I
don't-
know,
his
but
car's all
he's used
jacked
to the
up with
old
tech
ones.
and everything else. So what would
What's-
you say that you wouldn't listen to when you were riding?
Heavy metal, because I fucking hate heavy metal.
Okay.
Like screamo, like the really heavy stuff. I can listen to heavy rock, I guess, some of it, but I generally like to know what they're saying.
You listen good enough, you can hear what they're saying.
I can't. I've tried.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some of the heavy metal musicians are some of the most talented people in the world.
I
musically.
believe you there. Some of them.
Oh,
are
there's
really
no
good.
question. I mean, for
Like
me,
the lyrics are better. The music is way more complicated to play.
is it? It's not just power chords.
No, dude, you're listening to
Some
the
of
wrong
it's
shit.
pretty wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pop music is pretty much the same 3 chords.
It's
has
the
been
same.
for
It's the
20
same
years.
formula
Yeah.
every
40
song,
years.
though. It's chorus. No, it's like intro, chorus. No, verse, chorus, bridge, chorus.
If you want to know about pop music, there's one song that teaches you everything you
Oh,
need to know
what
about
the
pop
fuck
music.
Is this? What is it?
Like
It's
I've heard
called
this.
Hook by Blues Traveler.
I know
Is it
Hook, but what are you
actually,
talking
like-
about?
Look at the Blues Traveler. Don't listen to the song. Read the lyrics and then listen to the song. It's a
Okay.
song entirely written about the formulaic way that pop music is written. He wrote that song as a joke or an homage to pop music. Read the lyrics. It is genius. It is genius. Genius, I tell you. Hook by Blues Traveler. Get out there, read the lyrics, listen to the song. It's he does it formulaically about how pop songs are written. And then he actually goes through a portion of the song where he sings fucking gibberish. And he does it completely intentionally.
And it sounds good.
You've never
I've-
heard Hook?
You've never heard Hook by Blues Traveler?
No.
You need to like
You
immediately
just
when we're
told me
done
about
here.
it. I'm gonna go look it up.
Immediately when we're done here, go look up Hook, Blues Traveler on Spotify, look up the song Hook, read the lyrics and listen to it. It's amazing.
I always thought that was a
Okay.
take on the music industry and pretty boy groups
The
versus
song's
those guys.
called
and-
Hook. The song's called Hook, Dave.
yeah, I know. I
Will
get
you
it
guys
now.
listen to boy bands?
He says right in there, the hook will bring you back.
Because
It's
boy
a
bands
genius.
obviously were a huge thing when I was growing
Yeah,
up.
fuck the boy bands.
NSYNC started making music again.
Is that what you call that?
Instinct? What
I
was it?
haven't
What was it?
listened. I
Instinct?
think I've only heard one song because they started playing it on the radio a
Hey,
bunch.
I was old school boys band. I listened to Boys to Men.
ABC, BBD.
Boys to Men. Yeah.
Dustin
And
just
Black
throws out
Street,
the-
dude. I loved Black Street. They
No
were a one hit.
Diggity.
They were yeah, well. They had like 2 good songs, and that was it.
Do you remember the video for Black Street with Little Penny?
Lil Penny, dude. I miss Lil Penny.
Oh man, Little Penny was great.
Wow.
Oh yes.
What
And,
won't,
what
so
was
if
that-
you're
who-
listening to stuff, Ryan, what won't you listen to
What wouldn't I listen to?
outside from country? Because we already know you hate it. So
Yeah,
much.
I don't really I don't really listen to country. I'm not a big fan of like the scream metal. Metal music to me has changed a lot though, because like, you know, when I was in high school, Metallica was considered to be metal,
Yeah.
but it depends on what kind of Metallica you like. You know, you can go from the Black Album and forward, or you can go from the Black Album and backward. And if you go backward, their beginning stuff was a lot heavier.
Yeah,
than what
Ride the
they ended.
Lightning was
Yeah.
heavier, yeah.
So you know, not that they became pop, because they didn't, but the beginning stuff that they started with was a lot harder. You know, where you go
Did
to
you
the
ever
80s.
did you ever hear the S&M album they did with the, I think it was the San Francisco Orchestra or whatever it was?
Yeah.
It was like back in the late 90s. It was a 2-disc album, and they also did the whole show on VH1.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think I would like that, and I love that album. I think
Yeah,
that's
it was
great
really
with
good.
the orchestra and everything.
But it was the same, but they took a page right out of Guns N' Roses, right? Because
Yeah, it
that's
was
what-
better than Guns N' Roses though.
Well, Guns N' Roses did the same thing, right?
Yeah, they did. They did.
He wrote those 2 albums that back to back that were Use Your Illusion 1 and 2 that were
Mhm.
all written with orchestra. But I
Yeah.
mean, that's, you know, it depends on where you go with that. And then if you go back to, you know, Dave's day, right? People thought the Rolling Stones was hard, and it's not. Their music is beautiful. So, I mean, I guess it just depends on where your tastes lie and what you like and where you're at. I mean, you can listen to like early Beach Boys, right? And it was really very melodic and whatever. And then you get to Pet Sounds, and you could tell those guys were just way on drugs. I mean, so deep into the hallucinogens that it barely made sense. So, you know,
Yeah.
it depends on what I have unlike Dave, I have a very wide variety of musical interests, and and part of it's our history too. My family, you know, my wife and I met while we were in musical theater in high school. My daughter's in musical theater. She actually just had her tryouts for summer performing arts. And so, you know, that's my kind of like the baseline of my family is rooted in music and musical theater. So,
You know what was always weird to me, and I still feel like this to this day. You guys have all seen what an Iron Maiden t-shirt looks like, right? Probably
Yeah.
the most metal fucking t-shirts
Yeah.
ever made.
yeah.
They had that. What did they call their mascot zombie guy? I can't remember his name.
Yeah.
But he's
I know
on.
what you're
He's
talking
on.
about,
He's
though.
on every t-shirt.
Yep. Yep.
You listen to their music, it doesn't
Doesn't-
fit. It doesn't fit
No.
the t-shirt.
It doesn't
Yeah.
fit the t-shirt. The t-shirt makes you think like they're gonna tear your face off, and that
Yeah,
that's
they're like
not
they're
their
gonna be
music.
gore metal or something, but
Yeah.
they sound like
Yeah.
poppy rock.
Well, it's
almost.
like Van Halen, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Van Halen's the same way. I mean, they had that T-shirt with the album cover with the baby smoking a cigarette. I mean, they just about went to jail for that album cover, and then you listen to it. And it's
babies
like,
smoked
jump.
cigarettes back then. I mean, nobody gave a fuck.
Yeah, it's
You
true.
know, you
Babies
give them a
did smoke
cigarette and
cigarettes
a
back
glass
then.
of whiskey.
Yeah,
Tell them to go to
Yeah.
fuck to bed.
yeah. You put whiskey right in their baby bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Rub
blue,
it on their
blue
gums.
smoke right in their face.
Yeah, rub it on their gums when they're teething.
Yep. Baby Tylenol, best parental tool ever.
Baby Benadryl, you mean, Dave?
Benadryl, too, yeah.
Benadryl's a banger. It fucks. It fucks.
So, Dave, what wouldn't you listen to when you're riding?
I don't. Again, I just, you know, I'm a little weird, I guess. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't like anything pop this century. I just haven't heard a lot of good music. Like you were saying before, like everything since, you know, late 90s or whatever, it's definitely in the 2000s is all just very formulaic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and what you're saying is correct. If you know 4 chords, you can probably play
Every pop
80% of the songs out there that have come out.
That are on the radio.
Yeah,
You know,
they're
I
on the
don't
radio.
like country
They're on
and
the radio.
western. I just, you know, I like music, like music, right? Like Buffalo Springfield, Neil Young, you know, a lot of the bands in the 70s, right? Where they really talented musicians that produce music that meant something,
Sister
you know,
Sledge.
Sister Sledge. But you don't, I just, you know, anything, I don't know. My wife always tells me I got to listen to new stuff, but I just kind of like my shit.
I
Brittany
know.
just rolled
I
her
hear what you're
eyes. She has
saying
no
on the
idea
new
who Sister
stuff.
Sledge is.
It feels like after the '90s, everything else is just recycled garbage.
You know,
Yeah.
I
Pop
think
wise, whatever's on
right.
the radio. But I mean, if
I-
you dig deep in the internet, you're gonna find good
Yeah.
bands and good music.
But
Yeah,
I
I think-
mean, like, again, I don't want to keep harping because we know I'm, you know, I've got a man crush on Grohl, but like the stuff that Foo Fighters does,
Mhm.
right, is I don't know, light years ahead of probably 90% of the stuff that I've heard since the year 2000.
I
Because
don't know, man.
they put a lot into the music, you know.
I see. I put Foo Fighters though a little bit, not so much, but in the same category. Like I think Green Day was ahead of their time.
Oh, now I love Green Day. I mean,
I think-
but they're not a 2000s plus band, right? They're
No.
Well, after Insomnia, dude,
they're
I gave up.
90s. Oh, I didn't see. I thought
love Green Day.
I thought American
They
Idiot.
lost their punk rock edge after Insomnia. It was gone.
I thought American Idiot was the most punk rock thing they could have ever done.
American Idiot is one of my top 5 albums of all
Yeah.
time.
I thought it was the most punk rock thing they could ever done because they did something that was totally punk, which was to go against what was punk at the time, and they made a punk, basically I wouldn't call it a musical, but an operetta. They made a punk operetta is what they did.
It was a
Because every
beautiful
song
piece
feeds
of
into the
art.
next song.
You know, from the music to the lyrics to the production was, you know, and
Yeah.
plus it's, you know, I don't
Brittany's
know.
never even
I'm a
listened to it.
huge,
She
huge
doesn't know
fan of
one
Green
song
Day,
off that
I'm not a
album.
huge Green Day
which
fan.
I loved Green. And I tell
I
you
just
what,
don't like Green Day.
despite all the fucking drama last summer at Harley's thing, the homecoming deal, you know, when they announced that Green Day was going to be the headliner, people lost their shit all over YouTube and everywhere, and oh, anti-American, blah blah blah. I'm telling you, man, they killed it. People were on their feet for, I don't know, they did a long show, and everybody there got into it. You know, they
they
did a
were all
really good
drunk.
job. Yeah. I don't know, maybe.
I think there are a few bands out there that you can listen to. I think I put Green Day in that category. I would put old Guns N' Roses, maybe Metallica. I would put there's a few bands out there that when you listen to them, it's going to elicit a very visceral response depending on where you were in your life in that point in time in musical history.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that to me, like I said, that's what 90s grunge does to me. Is it definitely, it puts me in a very specific space and time in my life, that I can remember it. And the irony behind it is that I didn't discover or really discover Alice in Chains until after they weren't even a thing anymore, until they didn't exist and Lane Staley was dead. And so that's what is always interesting to me.
Well, I think when you're growing up, you make a connection to music that's like anti-establishment or rebellious or whatever, right? Because that's kind of what you're going through, and those are the bands, and that's the music that kind of sticks with you, you know, probably for the rest of your life.
Right. And and I think you know, like Dustin was talking about too, that music changed the landscape. Like music changed forever after that point in time, and there was one direction or another direction, right? And I mean, they talk about how, you know, Nirvana basically killed the big hair, you know, kind of the big hair bands of the time. They all disintegrated after that point. Your bands that were just trying to make it completely got just lost in the machine of Pearl Jam, REM, Nirvana, Soundgarden. I mean, you know, take the movie Singles and look down that,
it all.
You know, Mud Shovel, and I mean they just Bush. I mean, you know,
oh, I loved Bush. Yeah.
What was the other band? Oh man, their lead singer got hooked on heroin and died.
Stone Temple Pilots.
Stone Temple Pilots.
I still listen to them.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the only guy that's still alive from that time, the lead singer, Eddie Vedder, and the lead singer for REM. All the rest of them, they're all dead. All of them are. Lane Staley for
Gavin
Alice in Chains
Rosdale's
is
still
dead.
alive.
But Gavin Rosdale stopped making music. You know,
Did he though? I thought Bush
But-
was just performing this past year.
he's performing music, but he stopped making music.
Oh, I'm sure he's still making music for
Though
somebody.
you know, all of the lead singers for all of those big bands from back in the day, they're all dead. I
Yeah,
mean,
a lot of
you
them
know,
are.
it's pretty insane. Eddie Vedder and the lead singer for REM, those two guys survived it all. The rest of them died.
Well,
It's-
Michael
it's
Stipe
nuts.
was around long before Pearl Jam.
Yeah, REM was
REM was a
around
college band, out of college in the 80s, early
Right.
first half of the 80s.
Right. I can tell you what Tony's go-to band is. Dave Matthews. He's
I'm not a huge fan of Dave Matthews. He's a little formulaic too.
you
I don't
see
know if I've
well,
listened to him
but
in a while.
but see, you have to listen to Dave Matthews live versus Dave Matthews on an album. Not the same. He's a jam band. They're a lot like Fish, actually.
Yeah, but I don't know. Everything I've heard,
Grateful
it's
Dead.
like, immediately that's Dave Matthews because that sounds
Well-
like what you heard from him yesterday on the radio,
Because he has a very distinct sound,
Distinctive
very
style,
distinct
yeah.
voice and sound.
Yeah.
yeah. He's an incredible musician. Really, really talented. His music is also very complicated. Lots of instrumental,
a lot
and
of
lots
layers to it.
lots
for
of
sure.
layers. Yeah. Not a lot of vocal layers, but that's the one thing that I always admired about Alice in Chains is that those two guys singing together, it was very haunting music because there was a lot of notes that were created that weren't actually sung. It was the melding of the two voices that created your notes that weren't actually being played or sung.
Yeah.
The harmonics of it.
Well, we
was
sure went
amazing.
down the rabbit hole. Anyway, if you're listening and
That's
you're in the
good stuff.
Discord, pick 3 songs from your favorite artist over whatever period and go to that channel in the Discord for the FTBM 21 playlist and put them in there.
Yeah, Drop In Sledgehammer by Peter Gabriel.
Sledgehammer's the commercial. Yeah, okay. I mean, if that's what you know about Peter Gabriel, okay. I mean, at least you know something.
Hey, I'm just saying. You mentioned Peter Gabriel. I'm just picking the song that everybody would know, Dave.
Yeah.
Where's that channel at in
Peter
Discord
Gabriel
again?
was
'Cause
like
I can't
wedding
find
music,
it.
like wedding reception music a lot.
No, dude.
Something Steve Buscemi would sing in a movie.
No. Yeah, no. Peter Gabriel, I mean, you talk about progressive rock. When he was with Genesis, I mean, they were doing shit nobody else was doing.
Oh, like Invisible Touch, all that shit.
No,
Genesis, that's
no,
wedding.
you're
That's
thinking.
that's wedding
See,
reception.
that's 80s. That's 80s pop Genesis.
That's when I grew
Is that all
up,
you know
dude.
about? Is that all you know of Genesis?
That's all I care to know.
Oh no, you should. They actually did a really good documentary on Genesis like 4 or 5 years ago, where they went back all the way through the formation of the band and then all the drama with Gabriel and everything. It was a really good documentary.
Hey, that one song by Genesis still is probably the best opening in the air tonight, right? The best opening.
That wasn't
build
Genesis.
up. What's that? Phil
That
Collins.
was
whatever.
Phil Collins. So
Oh yeah, Phil Collins.
yeah.
Still,
Have you
Great-
seen him lately?
great song.
Holy shit, man!
Oh, he can't even
I
sing or
haven't.
walk or anything.
No, this is
He's-
this is what happens when you
he's in
have
terrible
too many
shape.
marriages and divorces, man. I mean, you're like, I'm serious. That's got to be the only reason he's still out there croaking,
Dude,
because
I
he
can tell
lost
you,
so much money over and over again
I could be.
going through these marriages.
You know what else happens? Some of these 80s guys have like, if you look at Vince Neil and what's his name from Soundgarden, Guns N' Roses, Axl Rose.
Oh,
Those
Axl.
two guys had terrible plastic surgery.
Oh, they're horrible.
Oh, they look like clowns. They both look like clown faces.
Yeah.
And Axl Rose can't sing anymore. He needs to stop because he sounds awful in concert now. Terrible.
No. Yeah. What do you listen to when you ride?
Yeah.
Nobody's bullshit.
Here,
Send it-
I don't know. Well, I guess I do know because you guys don't have Well, Ryan doesn't even have a bike with speakers.
No.
Yeah, I'm not a.
No.
as you
I
guys
could
know,
I
I'm not
could
a-
get speakers now though, Dave. The
You
Harman
could.
Kardon audio
I-
system
I
hooks
tell,
right up to my
I tell you
chair.
what, if you're looking at speakers, dude, those Hertz SX 165s, the Neos that I just put in my bike, oh my God, absolutely incredible. So much better than stock.
I've heard of Stage 2 Rockford Fosgate that we put in a bagger at work, and dude, that fucking thing is loud and it hits hard.
Yep, you can spend what $2,500 on that, or you can spend $380 for a pair of Hertz SX 165 Neos.
Or just get a Cardo so nobody else has to hear your bullshit.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the real thing.
Turn your
hey,
bullshit
so
off.
We don't have
Ryan-
to listen to your Bon Jovi as you roll into a parking lot.
I will say, if you have a Cardo and you like listening to music, or if you like just the hearing shit at all, the speaker upgrade. I did
The
that
J-
when it came out to the
Well, I got
45 millimeter
I got
speakers.
the Edge.
Huge,
though.
huge difference.
The Edge comes with good speakers though.
But it doesn't come with the upgraded speakers.
It
The
doesn't?
45, no. You got to
Oh,
spend
okay.
the $80 to get the 45 millimeter.
Okay, I should.
They're
probably
really
do
I
good.
don't remember.
So we sell them at work. We sell the Harley Cardos at work, so probably eventually I'll upgrade.
I still haven't figured out yet what the deal that is. As far as the new head unit, how broad the support is for Bluetooth.
Oh, I got your head unit for you right here.
Oh God.
No, my head unit's going
Thanks
to be
for
in
that.
Tennessee, brother.
What's
I'm
his
just
name?
waiting on it.
What's his name?
Don't forget, Monday night is patron night, the day this episode releases.
Whoop, whoop. Patron night.
Patron night. Come one, come all, come early.
Jesus.
That's what she said.
That was a lot. That was too much.
Yikes.
I'll be doing that from the road. I don't know where I'll be.
Oh, gross.
I'm
You'll
not
be coming on the road,
I'll
Dave?
be,
Yeah.
I'll be
Ugh.
recording. Yeah.
You'll be
much
coming down the
detail.
mountain.
Oh.
When he
Going up in
comes.
the mountains. I think where will I be? I'll be in Vermont. I'm going to do the Ben and Jerry's ice cream tour in Vermont.
Wow.
It's
Are
gonna
they
be
going to
fun.
push you around on a walker for that thing too?
Maybe. I don't care if they do. Just give me some ice cream.
You know, the next time you guys are this way, a tour you need to do is the Anheuser brewery tour.
Bush.
I've done Coors several times.
The Anheuser one is cool because you get to see the Clydesdales.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be kind of
I
fun.
did
Yeah.
Lone Star back when Lone Star was still making Texas beer.
All right, guys. Well, I think that's it, right?
Put a bow on
Yep.
it.
There's another episode of the 5 Dirty Bikers podcast. Thank you guys for coming. Get out, buy some merch. Join the
Speaking
Discord.
of merch,
It's
speaking
free.
of merch, one
Oh,
more
yeah.
time, because we're getting near the end of May by the time this drops.
Yeah.
You want a t-shirt, sweatshirt
Shit,
For
I gotta
both.
order. I got to order.
for FDBM 24, the meetup out in South Dakota. You have to get that ordered off the 5dirtybikers.com website by the end of May. And at this point, we will not be committing as to whether we will have any stock available for purchase in South Dakota.
At the 5 Dirty Bikers meetup, July 26th through 28th.
We'll be delivering those in person.
All right, friends. Till then, till next time, keep it dirty.
And don't listen to shitty music.